honoring the greatest generation and the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. A local nonprofit wants to bring 35 World War II-era veterans and up to 500 guests to American Family Field to watch the Milwaukee Brewers. You can join the VetsRoll crew on Thursday, September 4th, and it's not just veterans invited to the event. Hosting the Philadelphia Phillies, the Brewers will welcome the veterans onto the field in front of 40,000 fans. There will be 3 pickup locations, 1 in South Beloit and 2 in Wisconsin, Mukwonago, and another in West Allis. Tickets cost $75 and pay for the game, your bus seat, and the tailgate party.
They're going to the grave so fast. There's an estimated only 50,000 left living right now. And so we stay involved in their lives, and we want people, the younger generations, to carry on and to understand what that generation overcame. They literally saved the world.